Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into a world where competition wasn't just about winning. It was about survival, ritual, and sometimes sheer brutality. Humans have been competing, pushing their limits and battling for glory for thousands upon thousands of years. Forget everything you think you know about sports. We're talking about ancient games that make our modern athletic spectacles look like a friendly picnic. These were contests that were often bizarre, frequently brutal, and sometimes undeniably deadly. Get ready to have your mind blown as we explore the most extreme ancient sports. These are the games that truly tested the boundaries of human endurance and courage, making today's championships seem incredibly tame by comparison. Our journey begins in the land of pharaohs and pyramids, ancient Egypt. Even thousands of years ago, Egyptians loved a good competition, and their popular pastimes were surprisingly diverse. Wrestling, archery, and thrilling boat races were common sights along the Nile. But it wasn't all physical prowess. Board games like Senet were incredibly popular, believed to prepare the soul for its perilous journey into the afterlife. It was a game of strategy, fate, and spiritual significance played by all levels of society. Pharaohs themselves were not just judged on their wisdom or their rule. Their physical prowess, their strength, and their ability to lead in battle were equally important. They were expected to be peak physical specimens embodying the strength of their nation. Now let's journey to ancient Greece, the undisputed birthplace of the Olympic Games. Imagine the year 776 BC, the very first recorded Olympics, a tradition that would echo through millennia. These games were a celebration of human excellence and a tribute to the gods. The early Olympic events included familiar disciplines like running, long jump, discus throw, and wrestling. Athletes trained rigorously, dedicating their lives to achieving physical perfection and eternal glory. But then there was pankration, a sport so intense it makes modern MMA look like a friendly sparring match. This was a brutal, no-holds-barred mix of boxing and wrestling, designed to find the ultimate warrior. Pankration allowed almost anything you can imagine: punches, kicks, joint locks, chokes, and throws. The only rules were no biting and absolutely no eye gouging. Fighters would often battle until one was unconscious, surrendered, or even died. Winners of these games, especially pankration, became instant celebrities, heroes immortalized in song and story. Statues were erected in their honor, and they were celebrated as living legends, their names etched into history forever. And here's a detail that might surprise you. Athletes competed completely naked. This wasn't just about practicality, it was a profound act of reverence, honoring the gods by presenting the human form in its purest, most natural state. From the philosophical contests of Greece, we move to the raw, visceral spectacles of the Roman Empire. The Romans had an insatiable obsession with blood sports, a hunger for entertainment that pushed the boundaries of human and animal conflict. The most iconic of these spectacles were the gladiatorial contests held in magnificent arenas like the Colosseum. These were not just fights. They were elaborate productions designed to thrill and awe the masses. Gladiators came from all walks of life. Many were slaves forced into combat, but surprisingly, some were free volunteers, seeking fame, fortune, or simply a thrilling escape from mundane life. They were celebrities, but their lives hung by a thread. These warriors trained for years in specialized schools, mastering various weapons and combat styles. Their battles were often deadly, a brutal dance between skill and survival, where the crowd's roar could decide their fate. But the Romans didn't stop there. They staged mock naval battles known as naumachia by flooding entire arenas. Imagine the Colosseum filled with water, complete with ships and hundreds of combatants. These incredible spectacles reenacted famous historical sea battles, complete with elaborate costumes and dramatic narratives. They were a testament to Roman engineering and their boundless desire for grand, immersive entertainment. Now let's journey across the ocean to ancient Mesoamerica, where sports were not just entertainment, but profound, sacred rituals. The Mesoamerican ball game, known by various names like pits or ulamilistli, was a serious, often deadly ritual. The Maya and Aztec civilizations played this game with a heavy, solid rubber ball, sometimes weighing several pounds. The objective was to pass the ball through a small stone hoop, often placed high on a wall, without using your hands. Players could only use their hips, elbows, and knees to propel the ball. Imagine the incredible skill and athleticism required to control such a heavy object with only these body parts aiming for a tiny target. The stakes in this game were incredibly, terrifyingly high. For some versions of the game, particularly in certain rituals, the losing team, or sometimes even the winning captain, could be sacrificed to the gods. This was not just a game, it was a matter of life and death, a sacred offering, a way to communicate with the divine. The ball game was a profound spiritual event, deeply intertwined with their cosmology and beliefs. Our next stop is ancient China, where sports were often a blend of skill, entertainment, and practical military training. Cuju, a precursor to modern soccer, was incredibly popular and played for over 2,000 years. Emperors themselves were known to hold official Cuju competitions, showcasing the sport's importance and prestige. It was a game of agility, teamwork, and precise footwork, captivating audiences across the empire. Beyond Cuju, other sports like archery, thrilling chariot races, and intense wrestling matches were also common. These activities honed physical abilities and fostered a competitive spirit among the populace. Crucially, Cuju served a practical purpose far beyond mere entertainment. It was an excellent way to train soldiers, improving their stamina, coordination, and strategic thinking, all vital skills for the battlefield. Let's explore a few more ancient sports that truly stand out for their danger and sheer spectacle. First, imagine chariot racing in Rome. Not just a race, but a whirlwind of speed, chaos, and often horrific death. These races were incredibly fast, with chariots often crashing spectacularly, sending drivers and horses tumbling. The roar of the crowd, the thunder of hooves, and the constant threat of disaster made it an electrifying, yet terrifying event. Then we have the Highland Games in ancient Scotland, where strength and raw power were paramount. Competitors would toss massive stones, hurl heavy hammers, and famously throw entire tree trunks in the caber toss. These were tests of brute strength and technique, celebrating the might of the Scottish warriors. The sheer scale of the objects being thrown is truly astonishing, demanding incredible power and skill. And finally, prepare for the sheer audacity of bull leaping in Minoan Crete. This wasn't just watching bulls. Athletes would literally grab the horns of a charging bull and vault over its back in a breathtaking acrobatic feat. This incredibly dangerous ritual required immense courage, agility, and precision. It was a display of human dominance over nature, a thrilling and terrifying spectacle that few would dare to attempt today. From the wrestling mats of Egypt to the deadly ball courts of Mesoamerica and the blood-soaked sands of the Roman Colosseum, ancient sports were far more than just games. They were profound expressions of culture, belief, and human potential. These ancient contests tested skill, courage, and often the very will to survive. They pushed the boundaries of what was physically possible, celebrating heroes and sometimes demanding ultimate sacrifice. The spirit of competition, that innate human drive to strive, to excel, and to overcome, has endured for thousands of years. It's a fundamental part of who we are, connecting us directly to these incredible, shocking, and often deadly ancient traditions.